Newcastle Live. Newcastle Live.
In full transparency, the interview that we're bringing you today was shot at 1:30 in the morning at Thrashville after a huge day of live music. We chatted to Ezekiel Ox from Mammal and also Dane from Dane Blacklock and the Preacher's Daughter. Enjoy. Dane, I'd like to start with you. How did your band come about and where did the idea come from?
Well, I think it's kind of about looking at the church and the way that the church does things and doing the exact same thing, but, you know, using those powers for good instead of evil, you know, like getting all of these people really riled up and singing along and clapping, and it's catchy one-line bits, and but then using that power for good instead of evil, you know, rather than saying, you know, let's hate gay people and etc. Just be free and do what you want.
Well, can I ask, were you raised in a religious household? Is this like a direct response to some sort of dogma that was fed to you?
I was raised in a religious household at first, and then my parents backslid from the church.
Good for them.
Yes, I think so. There's apparently they explained later there's a special place in hell for you if you backslide.
No way.
Wow.
I haven't heard that.
It's almost like worse than sinning and then it's almost worse than sinning and accepting confession. It's like you've actually called us out on the facade. That's the worst crime.
Yes.
Fascinating.
Yes, exactly.
So, Mammal, you've had a little bit of a break lately, but you're back with heaps of stamina. What's the plan for the next year?
We're in a really good spot at the moment. When you say we've had a break, we haven't been on the live circuit. We went through the same thing everyone went through. We had this stuttering, rebooked, rescheduled tours through COVID. And then we've actually produced this album called The Penny Drop, which we are just so bullish about. Like, we really think that this album stands up. It's really belligerent. It's completely all about taxing billionaires. It's totally anti-fascist, and of course we stand against homophobia and any form of bigotry. We're all about diversity. And we've created an album that's like, I guess to me sounds like the time you fight, and that's what we wanted. So we've been busy. We've got this new album. We're going to do 2 film clips. We've got a couple of singles coming up. Keanu Reeves we played tonight. That's going to be our first clip. So we're in the process of like artwork, vinyl, getting all that stuff. How do we physically put it out now? Because don't forget, we're like 90s kids. So the whole thing of just not being able to print a CD, and then you're thinking now it's vinyl, and so we're just trying to play catch up. We're all middle aged and we've got kids and stuff, so it's all a bit wild. But yeah, the politics are standing up. We're as woke as we were in 2008 before woke was a thing, and we're really proud of that. And thankfully, it looks like the world's come along for a ride. Like, we won the gay marriage thing. That was pretty cool.
Yes.
Those no guys, they can just fuck off.
Hallelujah.
Losers.
Yeah.
Losers. Yeah. My sister married Michelle. Shout out to Kirsty and Michelle if you're watching. And it was just a big gay wedding, and it was bloody beautiful.
Love that.
Winners are grinners, I
That's
find.
awesome.
Winners are
Yeah,
grinners. Losers can please
absolutely.
themselves.
Do you remember where you were when that bill got passed?
Yeah.
I still remember it very vividly.
I was at work when it was announced. I was working in logistics at Tennis Australia for the Australian Open. And it was a great day. I went out and got very, very happily drunk at Trades Hall that night. It was wonderful with my working class friends.
I don't remember where I was, but I remember it being really, what
I'll say about that, the plebiscite, and I think it's really important to say this, it's the same with the no vote. It's different to the Aboriginal voice, but I actually find that the fact that taxpayers' money was given to the no vote, 73 million to each side, right, and they see that as like this false equivalence. I personally find that extremely offensive.
Yeah, that's
it was a 77% vote. It would have been higher if they hadn't had the propaganda machine. And I'm just tired of seeing our money go to Serco to lock up refugee kids, to let bigots stand in the street with signs. It was so damaging to our community. More hate in the community. We've seen what happens with people like Trump. So we stand against that, and I'm sure I speak for Dane and yourself, Bonnie. Like, we need a community and a culture that just doesn't tolerate it. It's not an opinion, it's bigotry, and it's an ideology, and it's very damaging.
On stage tonight, you had a poster that said Musos against, I'm so sorry.
I said Musos against police violence.
Yep. Amazing. Why is it important for you to have that?
Well, it's a pretty cool story. I was actually telling Dane just before we started the interview. So in 2007, 2004, Cameron Doomadgee was murdered, and if I get the dates wrong, I'm sorry, on Palm Island by a policeman called Senior Sergeant Hurley. And they waited for the coroner report, and it said that he had an accident, and the injuries were consistent with murder. Security camera footage was deleted. So what they did was they burnt down the police station, they sent the cops off the island, they burnt down the copper's home. Now, I supported that action. One of my, a now friend, Lex Watton, he got jailed for it. So we raised, that was how that formed. That was back in 2007. We raised $6,500, I think it was, around about for his wife, who was stuck without a breadwinner. And it was really powerful, and people got on board, and then we did a few more gigs for Fitzroy Legal Service, and it was really just about saying that, you know, the police monopoly on violence and the fact that the way they treat activists and people that are standing up, and just generally just the history of wanton murder of Indigenous people, we just had a gutful. And the cops started turning up to our gigs and harassing us after and stuff. It was really interesting. They noticed, and they don't like people talking about it. But anyway, it was a good thing, and we raised a lot of money, and then it sort of, like most activist things do, it sort of just fell off the perch. But I think we lost energy. People have children, people get new jobs. But it was absolutely sensational, and we're happy to bring it back, you know, if anyone has any ideas for fundraising. But yeah, we need more accountability with power. You know, that's what I'm all about.
Yes.
Like you were saying with the church.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
Definitely. All the characters that we saw on stage tonight, it was like half an hour, but it was like Rocky Horror Show, this cabaret fit into this tight set with choreography, props. The music was just nothing like I'd ever experienced. How has this like transformed and become what it is today? Because it's so interesting.
It's grown really organically. I mean, we planned some things. We come up with bits and but we write songs, and they have stories, narratives from the Bible. You know, like the Bible is so rich in like all of these ridiculous, hateful, weird, strange, fucked up stories.
It's interesting, Dane, because one of the things I found with religion, because I've always been quite repulsed by it as someone who calls themselves 99.9% atheist, but probably leaves that 1% because I can't know. But one thing I saw with refugee movement particularly, like, I mean, Christ said, suffer ye little children, come unto me, was that up the back you'd always see the Muslims, the Jews, the Buddhists, everyone marched. And I think there's like this fundamental doctrinal religion, and then there's the community aspect that people feel. I think if we're going to have a revolution, we need to capture the people that really see the philosophy as beautiful and a way to live their life. People like routines. Absolutely. And what we're doing is a ritual too, right? That's what we do. You're co-opting it.
Well, that's the exact thing.
It's sending a new ritual for them, which is... And I think that it's fascinating the way that humans love ritual and music and rock and roll, and it's good to be back with it on that level. You know, the band starts, or even like big rock endings, AC/DC. It's a ritual, right?
Yeah,
we do those. Yeah, they're super fun.
Everything in a rock show is ritual, and I think it's really fun to like meld the rituals of a church, like some imaginary cartoon satanic church, with the rituals of a rock band, and the way that you can bring people together.
Your show is absolutely wild, Dan. I hadn't seen Dane's show.
Amazing.
And it's just this, freaks and feathers. And I mean, I would recommend Down the Barrel of the Camera if you get a chance. And in fact, we're talking like this. I was talking to Max, one of the people in Dane's band, and I think they'd be a really good match for Mammal, because we're actually technically sort of Melbourne band, so we're sort of talking about maybe doing that again.
Amazing. That would be fantastic.
See if we can make it even more fun.
Yeah,
let's do it. Yeah.
See how fun it is tonight first.
Awesome.
Yes.
Look, I have one final question. What's your experience been like here at Thrashville so far?
I'll go first. I'll give you the last word, Dane. Sensational. My second time. I played here with my solo band in February 2022. The people, the energy, absolutely, people who are dedicated music fans, and the chance to camp and unwind and really decompress a bit and unwind. I really like that, because it's a hustle bustle out there, but I mean it's what a sight. I mean, it just looks amazing. I'm sure you're going to have footage of it, and I would love to come back, and I look forward to it sometime in the future. So I'm in their debt, I would say.
Yeah, I've loved it here. We've just had such an easy experience from the moment we got here. It's so beautiful here, and just got up on the stage. It's beautiful sound, so much space, such a good crowd. Yeah,
it was a vibe.
Yeah,
Come next time.
Yes,
come.
yes. Well, thank you for making this so special for all of us. It's been awesome, and thanks for spending some time with me.
It's a pleasure, Bonnie. Thank you so much for the interview and for your questions. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.